The one worst vegetable for your kidneys. If you're over 60, all right, let's get real for a moment. If you're over 60, you've probably been told your whole life that vegetables are universally good for you, right? Eat your greens, they said. And for the most part, they weren't wrong. Vegetables are packed with vitamins, fiber, and all sorts of goodness. But what if I told you there's one leafy green, a seemingly innocent superfood that can actually be a silent threat to your kidneys if you're in your golden years? We are talking about a single cup of this stuff dumping more potassium into your bloodstream than 3 whole bananas. Now, for most of us, that's not a problem. Our amazing kidneys are like tiny, super efficient filters, constantly working to keep everything in balance. They filter out excess potassium, sending it happily on its way out of your body. But if your kidneys have started to slow down, even just a little bit, which, let's be honest, is pretty common as we age, that extra potassium doesn't just pass through. It can linger, building up in your blood, and eventually it can mess with your heart's delicate electrical system, potentially triggering an arrhythmia. And the scary part? It can happen without a single warning. If you care about your health and want doctor-backed wellness tips, hit subscribe. It really helps us reach more people like you. Today, we're not just talking about bad vegetable, we're counting down the 4 highest potassium landmines hiding right there in your produce aisle. The number 1 culprit, well, it's probably sitting in your crisper right now, or maybe you even tossed it into your smoothie this morning, thinking you were doing yourself a favor. Stick around, because what you don't know about these veggies could truly impact your heart and your kidney health. Why high potassium is a big deal for your kidneys. After 60, before we dive into our countdown, let's quickly talk about why this matters so much, especially as we get older. Your kidneys are incredible organs, tirelessly working to maintain a delicate balance of electrolytes and minerals in your body, and potassium is a big one. It's essential for nerve function, muscle contraction, and a steady heartbeat. But like anything, too much of a good thing can be dangerous. When your kidneys are healthy and functioning optimally, they're masters of potassium regulation. You eat a potassium-rich meal, and your kidneys simply filter out the excess, sending it out with your urine. Easy peasy. However, as we age, kidney function naturally tends to decline. This isn't necessarily a sign of disease, it's often just part of the normal aging process. For many, this decline can progress into what's known as chronic kidney disease, or CKD. And one of the earliest and most serious complications of impaired kidney function is the inability to effectively remove potassium from the blood. This leads to a condition called hyperkalemia, that's just a fancy word for dangerously high potassium levels in your blood. And believe me, it's not something you want to mess with. Hyperkalemia can cause a range of symptoms, from muscle weakness and fatigue to numbness and tingling. But the truly frightening aspect is its impact on your heart. High potassium can disrupt the electrical signals that tell your heart when to beat, leading to irregular heartbeats or arrhythmias, and in severe cases, even cardiac arrest. The insidious part is that these early symptoms can be so subtle, so vague, that they're often dismissed as just getting older. You might feel a little more tired, experience some leg cramps at night, or notice an odd flutter in your chest. It's easy to blame age, but the real culprit could be that sticky mineral you're unknowingly overconsuming. That's why understanding these high potassium foods is so crucial for anyone over 60. Number 4. Yams. Let's ease into this list gently, shall we? Coming in at number 4, we have yams. Now, yams look utterly harmless, don't they? They taste sweet. They're a staple on just about every holiday table, often loaded with butter and brown sugar, and they're generally considered a healthy, starchy vegetable. But here's the kicker. One single cup of cooked yam delivers about 900 milligrams of potassium. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the same potassium punch as eating 2 small bananas in one sitting. If your kidneys are filtering at, say, 40% of what they did when you were 30, which again is a pretty common scenario for folks over 60, that substantial potassium load doesn't just vanish, it stays in your bloodstream, slowly accumulating instead of heading out in your urine. Over a few weeks or even a few days, if you're eating them regularly, that level creeps up. You might feel a little more tired than usual, maybe experience those annoying leg cramps at night. And naturally you blame age, but often the real culprit is that seemingly innocent sticky mineral you kept topping with butter. Now there's a little trick you can use with yams and other root vegetables to reduce their potassium content. Boiling yams in a generous amount of water and then discarding that water can cut roughly a third of the potassium. But let's be honest, most traditional recipes call for roasting them with the skin on or mashing them, which effectively locks every single milligram of that potassium inside. A super simple, kidney-friendly swap? Try replacing a half-cup portion of yam with some cauliflower mash seasoned with rosemary. You'll drop the potassium load by a whopping 80% without even noticing the difference on your tongue. Plus, cauliflower mash is delicious. Number 3, baked potatoes with skin. Next up at number 3 is a true classic, the baked potato. Oh, the comfort of a warm, fluffy baked potato. But a medium spud, baked with its skin left on, clocks in at a hefty 926 milligrams of potassium. That's even more than our yam friend. Now, if you take the skin off, that number does fall significantly. However, most of us were practically raised on the notion that the skin is where all the fiber and nutrients live, so we conscientiously leave it on. We might even scoop out the fluffy insides to add to soups or stews, often with that potassium-rich skin still attached. Here's where it gets tricky for your kidneys. If you're at chronic kidney disease, stage 3, your kidneys have already lost about half of their potassium clearance ability. So imagine having one baked potato and then maybe a second one for leftovers later, or even just a generous serving. Before you know it, you've consumed the potassium equivalent of 4 bananas, and you haven't even gotten to dessert yet. That's a significant burden for already struggling kidneys. But fear not, potato lovers. There's a simple trick called the double cook method. Here's how it works. First, cube your potato. Then boil those cubes for about 10 minutes. Drain the water thoroughly. That's where a good chunk of the potassium goes. After draining, you can finish cooking them in the oven, roasting them to perfection. This method can remove roughly half of the mineral content, yet they still taste like the real deal, crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Even safer, and a delicious alternative, is to switch to red cabbage steaks brushed with olive oil. They roast up beautifully, get wonderfully crispy, give you that same comforting vibe, and bring only about 150 milligrams of potassium per cup. A fantastic, colourful, and kidney-friendlier swap. Number 2, Swiss chard. Now, my friends, we are officially entering the danger zone. At number 2, we have Swiss chard. This vibrant leafy green is aggressively marketed as a superfood, and for good reason. It's absolutely packed with beneficial nutrients like vitamin K and magnesium. But here's the catch. 1 cooked cup of Swiss chard delivers a staggering 960 milligrams of potassium. That's almost double the potassium of a single banana in a portion size that most people consider just a side of greens. The sneaky thing about greens like chard is how much they shrink when cooked. You might start with 3 or 4 raw cups, thinking you're having a reasonable serving, and end up with just 1 cooked cup without even realizing how concentrated it's become. To make matters worse, those beautiful bright stalks make the dish look incredibly healthy and appealing, so you often serve yourself seconds, believing you're doing something wonderful for your body. If your estimated glomerular filtration rate, eGFR, which is a measure of your kidney function, is below 45, that potassium has nowhere to go. It's like trying to drain a bathtub when the plug is half clogged. Within hours, that accumulating potassium can start shifting your heart cells into a more excitable state, setting the stage for skipped beats, palpitations, and potentially more serious arrhythmias. One safeguard, similar to our yam trick, is blanching. Briefly blanching the chopped leaves for just 2 minutes and then discarding. That water can pull out about 40% of the mineral. But the simplest and most effective safeguard? Portion size. Keep your cooked chard to a mere 1/4 cup and fill the rest of your plate with low-potassium heroes like zucchini ribbons tossed in garlic. You still get your greens fix without the potassium overload. And now for the undisputed champion of potassium overload, the #1 worst vegetable for your kidneys if you're over 60, and the one nobody saw coming: beet greens. Yes, those leafy tops attached to those beautiful ruby red beets. Most folks either throw them away or worse, toss them into a smoothie without a second thought, thinking they're just adding a healthy boost. But listen closely. Beet greens carry roughly 1/300 milligrams of potassium per cooked cup. Let me repeat that, 1/300 milligrams. That's the same potassium load as 3.5 bananas, all in a food many people simply discard or consume mindlessly. Because their flavor is so mild, an entire sautéed bunch of beet greens can easily disappear into pasta dishes, quiches, or even morning omelets. And when that happens, you're delivering a mineral tsunami straight to your bloodstream. Unlike some root vegetables where you can leach out a good portion of the potassium, beet greens are stubborn. The leaves hold tight to that mineral even after 5 minutes of vigorous boiling. This means traditional cooking methods offer very little relief. If your kidney function is already reduced, this spike in serum potassium can push you past the danger threshold within a single meal. This might show up first as an odd flutter in your chest, a sudden wave of nausea, or that unexplained fatigue we talked about earlier. The safest move, honestly: snap those greens off at the store and leave them behind. Seriously, just leave them. Instead, replace them with an equal volume of baby arugula. Arugula brings only about 150 milligrams of potassium per cup and still gives you that lovely leafy texture and a slightly peppery kick you might enjoy. It's a simple swap that can make a huge difference for your kidney and heart health. Quick check-in. Did any of these 4 vegetables genuinely surprise you? I'm genuinely curious. Drop a yes or no down in the comments below. And please, if this information resonated with you, share this video with a friend or family member who still thinks all greens are always guilt-free. You might just be sharing life-saving information. Look, your kidneys are incredible organs. They'd have been diligently filtering and balancing your body's chemistry since before you bought your first car, probably even before you learned to ride a bike. But after 60, they really appreciate a little teamwork. It's not about giving up all vegetables or living in fear of your food. It's about making smart, informed choices. The key takeaways here are simple. Swap those high potassium heavyweights for lower impact produce. Be mindful of your portion sizes, and critically important, always talk to your doctor or a renal dietitian before making any significant changes to your diet. They can provide personalized advice based on your specific health status and kidney function. Small plate tweaks today, thoughtful choices in the produce aisle. These aren't just minor adjustments. They can mean steadier heart rhythms, stronger kidneys, and ultimately a more vibrant and energetic life as you continue to age gracefully. If you want more straight talk guides that cut through the endless nutrition noise and give you actionable advice, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. And please join our wellness family. We're on our way to 1K subscribers.